hopefully with the Syrian campaign, we'll get well-paved streets, a desert, and some good old Britain versus France. And to top it all off, the British troops during the invasion were not always British. There were British, Indian, Australian, native troops from the Emirate of Transjordan, and even troops from Czechoslovakia, meaning that this campaign will be getting a whole lot of different factions, which is 100% amazing. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Napoleon Total, and today we're back with another Enlisted episode. This time we're going to be covering a frequently asked question, and that is France going to be added to Enlisted? And the answer to that is obviously yes, we should definitely add France in, but the problem is how. As you can see right now, we have 5 campaigns, and those are Normandy, Moscow, Tunisia, Berlin, and Stalingrad. The one big thing that they all have in common is that they have Germany. Now, I have to admit, Germany is one of the biggest players on the Axis side during the Second World War, especially in Europe. However, with the 5 campaigns already featuring Germany, I don't want another Germany. I don't know about you guys, but grinding the Gewehr 41, the Gewehr 43, the MP40, or the MG34 over and over again is extremely boring and dull. I just don't want Germany again. However, if we are going to add France, we might as well just put Germany in again, because the Battle of France is what really makes France stand out. For me, that's a problem. And the reason that's gonna be a problem is because I'm just gonna play France. I'm not gonna be playing Germany because I've already done Germany so many other times. And I am pretty sure a lot of other people are just gonna be playing France, like me. And what's gonna happen is that everyone's gonna play France, no one's gonna play Germany, and the servers are gonna have a problem, and everything is gonna have a problem. So yeah, that is not a great idea to just add France and Germany. On the other hand, I'm not against the idea. I do believe that a campaign in especially the forest area of the Shire, or places like the Ardennes, is a good idea. Nevertheless, I don't really think Germany should be added in a French campaign, not because they were not important, but because we already have Germany over and over again. I do want something different that is not Germany. Now you might be wondering, alright, without the Battle of France, what other campaigns did the French fight that we can use for a campaign in Enlisted? Well, for starters, we have the Italian invasion of France. This occurred from the 10th of June, 1940 to the 25th of June, 1940. Yes, you heard me, 16 days, around, approximately. The general idea was that Italy was seeing German success in the north, with the German invasion of France through the Ardennes. That was obviously a big success. And Italy, seeing that Germany has just gotten so much land, decided to declare war on France. They declared a war on the United Kingdom too, but the main problem was that for our video, it's France. The invasion took place on the 10th of July, and it basically lasted around 16 days. The French would suffer around 40 killed and a few hundred casualties, and Italy will lose 640 and a few thousand wounded. Please do not insert spaghetti memes. I'm done. Needless to say, the campaign wasn't significant. There wasn't a lot that occurred, and probably the most important thing was that it wasn't big. It was basically in the mountains, and both sides were basically fighting a defensive war, with Italy deciding to attack at the last minute, and that didn't go well for them. There were no massive battles, and nor were there hundreds of thousands of deaths. And if Enlisted would add this campaign, I will actually be very happy, and the reason is because we have a mountain campaign. I honestly really want to see a mountain campaign, because the mountain campaign, or a campaign in the mountains, is something that we do not really have. If you ask me, and not to mention the fact that if I were given the choice to fight between, France and Italy, I would actually have to think about it, because I actually like both factions. However, as much as I like it, I don't think Enlisted is going to implement it, but it is a good suggestion. So we already, as of right now, we already have 2 suggestions. One is the French campaign in mainland France, mostly at the Ardennes. The second one is the Italian invasion of France, which is the second idea. Both of them I don't think is very possible, nor do I like either one of them, although I rather prefer the mountain one or the forest one. But I would like to see the third one, and that is Operation Exporter, which was also the code name for the British invasion of French Syria and Lebanon. To be exact, it was also known as the British invasion of Vichy French Syria and Lebanon. For those who don't know, after France surrendered in 1940, a French puppet government was installed that was obviously subordinate to the Germans. This was called Vichy France. Although almost around 2/3 of France itself was carved away by the Germans, most of the former colonial position of the French were given to the new Vichy French government. This was the case with Syria and Lebanon. The campaign, which occurred from 10th of June to the 14th of July 1941, was a direct response to ensure the British Empire was covered when Rommel was pushing in North Africa. However, most importantly, it was used to ensure that Germany in the future would not invade British Egypt via the French Syria. This campaign was much larger than the one in the Alps. Both sides had 35,000 men, and the problem for me is that this campaign is in the desert. For most, it's just going to be a Tunisia, and before you turn your screens away, by all means, Tunisia is not a bad campaign. And as I'll later going to get onto, the Syrian campaign, which I hope it should be implemented, is going to be way different from Tunisia. Not to mention the fact that I think this one is a more plausible campaign because both sides are around 35,000 men. They never engaged in battle, albeit, and, well, when I mean in battle, I mean the ones on the scale of the Battle of France, and during most of the time the British would march into Syria unopposed. Well, still opposed, but not that opposed. Although I think we really already have a desert campaign, I really want to see another one, and that is because Tunisia and Syria just straight outright look different. Look at these images for a minute. Does this look anything like Tunisia? And the answer is no. And the reason is that Syria is going to be way more urban. At least the places that I hope they implement are going to be way more urban. Syria is going to look different, and I really hope that they add Syrian campaign in Enlisted. I believe, well, off the bat, that no other campaign, no other World War II shooter game has done Syria during World War II because it's pretty not going to be in the headlines. And yeah, I just really like to see a Syrian campaign. We also, in the map, hopefully with the Syrian campaign, we'll get well-paved streets, a desert, and some good old Britain versus France. And to top it all off, the British troops during the invasion were not always British. There were British, Indian, Australian, native troops from the Emirate of Transjordan, and even troops from Czechoslovakia, meaning that this campaign will be getting a whole lot of different factions, which is 100% amazing. With that said, I believe the Syrian campaign is going to be the campaign that introduces France, not only because it could add potentially different nations, but because of the map, which I really hope like. And yeah, I really hope that Syria is added. Although the chances of it, I'm going to be honest, is not really high because I'm pretty sure Enlisted is already working on the French campaign in France itself, which might mean that we're just going to have Germany again, which I'll can't really say anything about that. But honestly, if they do add Syria in, no other World War II shooter game has added Syria, and it really actually covers that aspect of history that we really don't see covered. And yeah, I just really want to see Syria. Not because, well, just because I'm a history freak, but yes, sure. If they add France, mainland France, and the Battle of France, or the Italian invasion of France, I can't really say anything. But that said, that is my speculation for how France is going to be added into the campaign. They could either be added in the Battle of France, the Italian invasion of France, or the invasion of French Syria in the Syrian-Lebanon campaign. Honestly, I don't know which one is better. I hope the latter is better, but sure, whatever. I can take any one of those. But what do you guys think? Do you want a French campaign, or do you want and where do you want a French campaign? Please comment down in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and join me on Discord, and I'll see you on the battlefield. This is only part 1, because if I were to do part 2, which is going to be covering the weapons of the French, we will be having a video that is approximately longer than I want it to. So, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.